Have you ever felt alone even when surrounded by others? Have you ever wondered why loneliness seems to be a universal human experience? Now, let's ponder on this. Imagine a world bustling with over 7 billion people. 7 billion souls on a single planet, each with their own unique stories, journeys, and experiences. And yet, despite this staggering diversity and connectivity, loneliness has become a prevalent part of the human condition. It isn't restricted to particular age groups or demographics. It's a silent epidemic affecting people from all walks of life. The young, the old, the rich, the poor, the extroverts and introverts. The question then arises, why? Why in a world so interconnected do we often feel so isolated? Loneliness isn't merely a state of being alone. It's a complex emotional response to the perceived lack of connection or communication with others. It's a sense of disconnection that can be deeply distressing, impacting our mental, emotional, and even physical health. In our quest to understand and combat loneliness, we may find ourselves turning towards various resources, seeking solace and answers. One such resource, offering a profound perspective, is the Bible. An ancient and sacred text, revered by millions around the globe, it provides us with a unique viewpoint on the human experience of loneliness. The Bible doesn't shy away from the reality of loneliness. It provides narratives of individuals who grappled with feelings of isolation, despair, and abandonment. But more importantly, it provides guidance, hope, and a path to overcoming this feeling. It gives us insight into the nature of loneliness, its roots, and the spiritual dimensions of this universal experience. As we delve deeper into the biblical perspective on loneliness, we'll discover that this ancient text, written thousands of years ago, still holds relevance and resonance in today's modern world. It offers not just a mirror to reflect our deepest emotions, but also a roadmap to navigate the labyrinth of loneliness. The Bible, an ancient and sacred text, provides a unique perspective on loneliness. Stay tuned as we unravel this perspective, exploring the wisdom it offers, and the ways it can guide us in overcoming this universal human experience. The Bible is full of stories about loneliness. From Moses in the wilderness to Jesus in the desert, it's a theme that runs throughout the text. Let's delve into some specific biblical references that shed light on this human condition. The first one is Psalm 25:16-17. Here, King David cries out, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Bring me out of my distresses." David, a man after God's own heart, was no stranger to the sting of loneliness. He reminds us that it's okay to acknowledge our loneliness and seek solace from the divine. Next, we find Elijah in 1 Kings 19:4-5. He's just experienced a great victory but now finds himself alone and afraid in the wilderness, wishing for his own death. He cries out, "It is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no better than my ancestors." Even the most courageous among us can find themselves spiraling into loneliness. But Elijah's story doesn't end there. God sends an angel to strengthen him, showing us that even in our darkest moments, we are not truly alone. Fast forward to the New Testament, to Matthew 27:46. Here, Jesus, in his most agonizing moment on the cross, cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus, the Son of God, experienced the ultimate loneliness, separation from God the Father. Yet we know that this was not the end of the story. His resurrection proved that even in the most profound loneliness, hope and redemption are possible. These verses show us that even the most faithful and revered figures in the Bible experienced loneliness. Yet they also remind us that no matter how deep our loneliness may feel, we are never truly alone. The biblical narrative assures us that God is always present, and there is always hope for restoration and connection. So if you're feeling lonely, remember, you're in good company and you're never as alone as you might feel. In the Bible, God doesn't ignore or dismiss loneliness. Instead, he provides comfort and companionship. Consider the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. It says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This is God's assurance to his people. In times of loneliness, he doesn't just stand by and observe, he steps in. He strengthens, he supports, he is present. Next, let's delve into the 23rd Psalm, specifically verse 4. "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Here the psalmist expresses a deep sense of loneliness, walking through the darkest valley. Yet he's not alone. God is with him, guiding him, comforting him. It's important to note that these promises are not just for the people of the ancient world. They're timeless, spanning centuries, reaching us in our moments of solitude today. The book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5 reiterates this. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." These verses echo a truth that runs through the entirety of the Bible. God's presence isn't conditional. It's not dependent on our circumstances, our feelings, or our actions. He doesn't promise to show up only when we're happy or successful or surrounded by people. He's there in the silence. He's there in the emptiness. He's there when the crowd disperses, when the lights go out, when the loneliness sets in. In the face of loneliness, God offers his unwavering presence. He's not a distant deity but a close companion. He's not just a figure in the heavens but a friend by our side. In the depths of our loneliness, he's there, whispering the same promise he's been making since the beginning of time. I am with you. Biblical teachings not only acknowledge loneliness but also provide guidance on how to overcome it. As we navigate the valleys of loneliness, it's essential to remember the importance of community. The book of Hebrews in chapter 10 verses 24 and 25 encourages us to not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another. It is through these interpersonal connections that we can find strength and comfort. We are social beings by design, meant to live in harmony and fellowship with others. The shared experiences, the laughter, the tears, the shared joys and shared burdens, these are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives together, providing a sense of belonging and purpose. Another pillar in overcoming loneliness is prayer. Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 and 7 encourages us not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present our requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard our hearts and minds. Prayer is a conversation with the divine, a means of laying bare our fears, our hopes, and our dreams. It is in these quiet moments that we can find comfort and guidance, a reassurance that we are not alone. Lastly, finding purpose in service to others can be a powerful antidote to loneliness. Galatians chapter 5 verse 13 encourages us to serve one another humbly in love. Service shifts our focus outward, away from our own struggles and towards the needs of others. It fosters empathy, compassion, and understanding. In giving, we receive a sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of connection. Overcoming loneliness is not a solitary journey but a communal one. It involves reaching out, opening up, and leaning in. It requires vulnerability, courage, and faith. It is about finding strength in community, solace in prayer, and purpose in service. Through community, prayer, and service, we can find solace and combat loneliness. The Bible's final message about loneliness is a powerful one. You are never truly alone. This message resonates across the scriptures, bringing comfort and hope to those grappling with feelings of solitude. Let's revisit a couple of verses that echo this promise of God's constant presence. Firstly, we have Deuteronomy 31:6, where it is written, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." This verse not only affirms God's unending presence but also reinforces the need for courage and strength. It reassures us that no matter the circumstance, God's presence is unwavering. Next we have Matthew 28:20, where Jesus himself says, "And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." This promise by Jesus made after his resurrection serves as a comforting reminder of his eternal presence, transcending the confines of time and space. These verses are more than mere words. They are divine assurances that we are not alone in our struggles. They remind us that even in the face of loneliness, we are accompanied by a presence that is steadfast, comforting, and unchanging. This promise of God's constant presence is a beacon of hope for those navigating the stormy seas of loneliness. It is a gentle whisper in the silence, a warm embrace in the cold, a guiding light in the darkness. It offers comfort in times of distress, strength in moments of weakness, and peace amidst turmoil. In this promise we find the courage to face our loneliness. We find the strength to reach out to others, to build connections, and to foster a sense of belonging. We find the peace that helps us accept our solitude not as a state of isolation, but as an opportunity for reflection and growth. And so, in the midst of loneliness, remember this truth: God is with you always. His presence is a promise, a constant companion in your journey. He is there with you, in every step, in every breath, in every heartbeat.